Hey there guys, so I wanted to talk to you about the upcoming EU gun ban, and there has been a list released that shows what they are trying to change in the future because of the recent Paris attacks. And as you can see, I've mounted myself a microphone here, so you can hear my voice better than before, or the video before. And I've read through the list and wrote myself some and wrote everything important to me down. So let's start from the top. And the first thing that I noticed was that they're trying to get you to make a medical or psychological test, and you have to renew that every 5 years. So if you got that license and you have an approved and you have passed the medical test or the psychological test, and after 5 years they're saying you have to renew it because it's not up to date. That's pretty shit because it costs money, and it's rather useless because people just don't change within 5 years. So if they say every 20 years or something we have to renew that medical test, in my opinion it would be okay, but the best way to do it just remove it after all, because they are trying to connect the information that they're getting from the hospitals, from the doctors, and they're trying to combine that in one big database, so they already know if if you have a license you are taking pills or something else. So those medical tests are useless and just cost money and worthless. And another point is that they are trying to implement is that they are not just renewing the law or revamping the law this time in 2016 or 2017. I don't know when it is going to when the exact date is going to be, but they are trying to implement that they're trying to implement a meeting every 5 years or every 2 years to revamp the current gun laws and to make changes. So that's pretty idiotic, because if you buy a gun in 2018 and in 2022 they are saying no, that gun is illegal now, you have to they're going to seize that gun anyways. So you are pretty much living in an insecure way, because every 5 years they are going to change the law again and again and again. Then they are trying to restrict online sales to that point that if you're buying something online, you have to either ship it to a dealer or a broker, where you have a face-to-face contact and the broker can verify your ID that you are allowed to own this gun, or some public authority, which is an rather good idea, but because in Germany you already need to show that the buyer your WBK or Waffenbesitzkarte. So the other one already knows, the seller already knows that you are allowed to buy that gun, because you can't just buy that gun online and give them no ID. Then if you want to buy a gun or if you want to apply for a license, you have to be 18 or above, which is rather okay, because in Austria you have to be 21 or above, or if you have parental approval you can get a license below 18. Then the only two good causes, because you need a good cause to get a license, the only two good causes are hunting and sporting or target shooting. So self-defense is not a valuable reason to get the license anymore. Then storing is also a big part, because guns and ammo have to be stored in safes, and there they can be stored together. So if I have a safe and have or a small safe and have my Glock inside there, I can also store a pack of ammunition or a loaded magazine. Not loaded magazine in the gun, but the loaded magazine near that Glock. But if you have, if you don't own a safe, you have to store them separately. So if you have just some wooden box and you lay your Glock inside, you have to buy another wooden box and put your ammunition inside there. Then, because of the recent terrorist attacks, they are also trying to implement special markings on the firearms and on the essential parts, so they can be traced back who bought it, who manufactured it, and when they manufactured it. Because we already mentioned the essential parts. The essential parts are the receiver, both upper and lower receiver, the barrel, the bolt, and for pistols the slide, and for revolvers the cylinder. So that's pretty problematic, because in some states receivers are not essential parts now, and after that law is implemented, those parts will be essential parts. So we have a problem right here, and we shall see what they will do. They will do there. The most important part is that high capacity magazines are going to be banned. What are high capacity magazines? High capacity magazines are these things, which hold which are standard capacity magazines, which hold 30 rounds or even more. Something like a Beta C mag or other crap you want to buy because it's fun. And carrying a gun is still legal, and nothing is mentioned in this revamped European law, and they say that carrying is up to the country and to the national law itself. So something like CZ, where if you have a permit to own that gun, you also can carry it. It's up to them. Then, because of the Schengen Abkommen, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein have to obey that law too, and it's pretty mind-blowing, because Switzerland has a pretty liberal gun law, where most people own, many people own firearms, which would be banned from these new kinds of laws. So and if that passes through Switzerland, they are probably going to make something like big public asking, and if people say go fuck yourself, and they don't want that shit, we shall see what will happen what will happen there. And what I had forgotten to mention is those high capacity magazines are banned for all civilian use, except for target or sport shooters who can show the need for those high capacity magazines for for IPSC shooting or whatever. So only a small percentage will own these things. Then there are some changes to the categories of firearms, because here in Austria we have 4 categories: A, B, C, and D. And now, after the revamping, there will only be 3 categories, namely A, B, and C. And category A contains firearms which have been converted from full auto firearms. So something like you have your full auto AK in Finland, and they have been converted to only fire single shot, so only fire semi-automatic, and those things would be category A firearms too, so still or whatever. And semi-auto guns, semi-auto guns will be category A2, or some semi-auto firearms will be category A2, and those firearms are short firearms, so guns that have an overall length less than 60 centimeters, which can use magazines, which can shoot more than 20 rounds without changing the magazine, and it doesn't matter if the magazine is fixed or the magazine is detachable. If you can pull the trigger 20 times, or if you can shoot 20 times or more than 20 times, that's very important. If you can shoot more than 20 times without reloading, those semi-automatic guns are banned. And if it's a long gun, so the gun is longer than 60 centimeters overall length, you're only allowed to shoot 10 shots. So yeah. Then, and long guns which can be folded down to an overall length less than 60 centimeters are also category A, and the high capacity magazines itself will be category A. So if you own one of these or more than one of these, which most people who are sport shooting or target practicing or even hunting own more than one of these will be category A too, and you have to enhance them or destroy them by yourself, which is pretty stupid, but we'll probably have to obey the law because we are legal gun owners and we are good people, or whatever you want to call them. And category B firearms are short repeating arms, so repeating arms that have an overall length less than 60 centimeters, or short single shot center fire firearms, or short single shot rim fire firearms that have an overall length less than 28 centimeters. 28 centimeters. Why they have written down that, why they took 28 centimeters, I don't know. It's just mind-blowing. And semi-automatic firearms, which can hold more than 3 rounds, and are rimfire, are category B. And semi-auto firearms, which can hold more than 3 rounds, but less than 12 rounds, and are centerfire. So if you have something like 1022 rimfire, Ruger 1022 rimfire semi-automatic gun, you're good to go. You can use your 10-15 round magazines without a problem, and they are category B. If you have a centerfire firearm, something like, I don't know, an AR-15, and it uses, you can still use your 5 and 10 round magazines, it would be category B. Only firearms that can use magazines that are that hold more than 20 rounds for pistols and revolvers, but revolvers don't hold magazines, and long guns that hold more than 10 rounds in the magazine are category A. Everything below would be category B. Yeah, and all other semi-automatic firearms are category B too. Then shotguns, which where it doesn't matter if they are semi-automatic or repeating, with a barrel length less than 60 centimeters, which is a huge barrel, will be category B2, and civilian military look-alike semi-autos would be category B2. So like I said, the AR-15, which looks like an M16 or an M4 with a 10 round magazine, would be still category B. Then category C firearms are repeating long guns with single shot barrels, with single shot rifle barrels. Then semi-automatic guns that are not category A or category B, so something like, I don't know, a Browning Auto 5 maybe, with a 3 round mag restriction. And single shot rimfire guns with an overall length greater than 28 centimeters. We now are covering the parts which are bothering me really much, really, because alarm and signal guns, so in Germany or in German, it's called a Schreckschusswaffe, so a blank gun, or a flare gun would be category C2, and deactivated guns will be category C2, and salute and acoustic guns remain in the category. So if you have an Uzi which has been converted to fire only blanks, will still remain in category A. And single shot shotguns, now that's a really important part, because single shot shotguns bought before the implementation of this new law will be not included under this law. So you can still, if you can buy single shot shotguns without any kind of registration or whatever, you can still own them without any kind of registration if you owned them before the implementation of this law. Now, the important part is that category A and category A firearms are completely banned from civilian use. Only exceptions are a possibility. So if for example, museum is an exception, or an authorized collector or whatever. So only really a small minority is able to own this kind of firearms. Category B firearms are only obtainable via a license or a permit. And this permit has to be renewed every 5 years with the medical tests and all that crap. And category C firearms are only up to registration, so you don't need a permit, but you can own them without any kind of permit. And which is an important part too is reloading. They've stated before that reloading will be somehow banned, because ammunition is also an essential part of a firearm. So if you can't produce essential part of the firearm yourself, because only dealers, brokers, or gunsmiths or whatever are allowed to produce essential parts of the firearm, so reloading is pretty much killed. Yeah. So what can you do to prevent all this? We have a few options. You have a few options here. The first and best option is probably to write an email or write a letter and call your members of parliament who are voting on this kind of law, and tell them that some shit like those 5-year renewal medical tests or psychological tests are completely useless and doesn't save anyone, and doesn't prevent a terrorist from making a mass shooting and killing 100 or more people, or something like the magazine restriction, which doesn't save anybody too, because that kind of law says if you own one of these and you own a completely legal semi-automatic gun, and you would insert the magazine in the semi-automatic gun, you would have an illegal firearm, which will be seized from you by police or something else. So please write your MLPs, please call them, and please try to prevent all this. Thank you. I forget to tell you this. I will put down in the description a list or a link to a list to all the members of parliament you can call, international and for me specific the German speaking ones. And what I'm also going to do is to put the link to the text I'm referring to down in this description too. So yeah, farewell.